What's up? It's your boy, amateur pro home chef Nathanael Levinson. Let's talk about herbs. Herbs, or herbs if you're wrong, are basically any plant, any leafy green plant that is used primarily for seasoning. So, you've got things like oregano and lemon balm and rosemary is a big one and basil's a big one. We've got thyme and there are dillweed, there are all sorts of things. But what I want to talk to you about is how do you get your herbs and how do you apply your herbs, okay? So obviously the two forms of herbs you're gonna get primarily are fresh and dried. Now, dried herbs are a wonderful way to have herbs out of season, right? And they're really cheap, really easy to get. The problem is they just don't have the same depth of flavor. So the beautiful thing about herbs, with maybe the exception of basil that can be a little finicky, is they're basically weeds. In fact, dill is called dill weed. So they will grow very well. So if you are up to it, I highly recommend you have a small herb garden where you grow your own herbs. Obviously, in the winter, that's not gonna cut it. But any excess you can dry out and then you have your own dried herbs. But if you absolutely can't grow your own herbs, then you can actually buy packets of fresh herbs in the grocery store, right? So just because you're not able to grow them on your own doesn't mean you need to settle for dried herbs, because I promise you the flavor difference is night and day. So dry herbs are excellent for certain applications, but you really, when it comes down to it, if you can get your hands on fresh herbs, it's gonna make a whole bunch of difference. The other thing to note is when you're cooking with them, dry herbs you can kind of just sprinkle in on your own. For whole herbs, you either need to chop them really fine, or what you can do is you take all your herbs in a bundle, wrap them with butcher's twine, and that's called a bouquet garni, and you dump that in and then you fish it out after you're done cooking. So you get all the flavor of the herbs, but you pull out the herbs afterwards. So highly recommend you look for fresh herbs, either grow them yourself or buy them fresh in the store. It's a little more expensive, but I promise you the flavor difference is worth it. So until next time, I'm your boy, amateur pro home chef Nathanael Levinson. Herb pun.